All right, good evening and welcome everyone to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have race number 2 of the Area 51 Racing League Indy Series here tonight at Michigan. Scheduled distance, actually the distance is going to be 100 laps is the race length this evening. So they got our points up after last week's amazing race at Indy. Say Charles Teed getting that win. You can see that's given him an 11-point lead over Matt Wagner in second. Henry Bennett, with the bonus points that he was able to collect in that race, is able to grab that third position. Charles Johnson in fourth, or tied for third, I should say, and then Gary Corley rounding out our top 5. As you can see, it looks like we had 22 drivers take part in that race. Looks like we have 20 here at the moment this evening. Qualifying happening right now. Drivers putting on their laps, trying to see what kind of qualifying times they can get. However, let's say before we get onto all of that, though, gotta bring in my partner in crime this evening, Steve Gottschalk. Steve, I know you put a couple laps in under practice, doing some mock qualifying laps as well to kind of see what these guys might be expecting here tonight. What are you finding here on track tonight?
Hey, Gael. Hi, everyone. First of all, this thing is flat out all the way around. You can run any groove you want, which is really nice. It should, depending on aero push, provide for some pretty intense racing. Hopefully multi-groove. Although the low line does seem to be the faster line out of the three. I'm not getting any kind of push or looseness from it. As you noted when we were talking during practice, you can definitely mess things up pretty bad if you hit the apron, because the transition is apparently radical enough that it upsets the car. I already spun out once coming out of the pits because I tried to enter the track slightly too early.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Steve. I think this does have a potential of having pretty good long green flag run racing. Sounds like fuel window's right at that 25 lap mark for being in clean air. So if you're able to stay in the draft, maybe be actually a little more than that, maybe 27, something like that. So definitely going to be something to keep an eye on as well. Say if we do get those green flag pit stops, really going to have to be careful for those entry and exits. But at the same time, though, you obviously want to get all you can, because that's really where you can make or break some lap times here. So looks like qualifying just has about completed here. We got to pull up our starting grid, and actually I got to also make up for last week missing some info as well. And that is, need to mention the Dark Horse guys. Say they are actually sponsoring the Dark Horse Pole Award all season long for this Indy Series. And for the second week in a row, it's going to go to that 007 of Henry Bennett. He won the pole last week at Indianapolis. Gets the pole here tonight at Michigan as well. Next to him, though, going to be that number 17 of Chad Wilkes. Craig Forsyth rocking the hand controls in third. Charles Teed fourth. Anders Arhus in fifth. Jim Brooks sixth. John Brill seventh. James Ledford in eighth. 9th through 16th, you got Benjamin Combs, Todd Merkel, Matt Wagner, Gary Corley, David Payton, Tom Miles, Michael Spell. Eric Schaus, first of those not to put down a qualifying lap. He will start 16th position. And then 17th through 20th, you've got Kyle Hess, Dwight Plesh, Ivan Pla, and Paul Patterson will be our 20 drivers for this evening.
And it looks like Henry Bennett is going to be the one to take home that pole award.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I say 2 weeks in a row for that 007 car. So say $20 richer, courtesy of Dark Horse, the Dark Horse Racing League. Actually, I do a little bit of racing with them as well on Wednesday nights. Say they've got an Indy series that they've got going on. So it's a really good kind of partnership between Dark Horse and Area 51. So they a lot of guys support the league here and then vice versa. So it's a lot of fun to see. Both groups and both leagues really great people, and it's a lot of fun to be part of. And like you said, really appreciative of it. Also, like you said, to support these guys. I'm sure Henry Bennett's not complaining as well. Getting those 2 poles and $20 richer here after these first 2 weeks.
Yep, and 2 poles in his first 2 races with the league.
Yeah, it seems like that's not a surprise to some of those drivers I had been talking with to Matt Wagner prior, and he'd pretty much mentioned that right from the get-go. He said that Henry Bennett, he's going to be one to watch. He's very fast with these cars, and we've seen that. We saw that at Indy. He was really fast all race long, just unfortunately got caught out by a little bit of fuel strategy at the end. So we'll see if he's maybe able to rebound and maybe get that first win here this evening.
So I missed if you mentioned it, but Craig Forsyth will be driving once again with his hand controls on the wheels. So thankfully, this is a flat out track, so it should be about like Indy for him. And he did quite well there.
Yeah, I'm
So
not too worried about Craig Forsyth on this one. So he's very good, even with the deficit that he's got using those hand controls. But when he's going to be as fast as he is, and like I said, I mean, you're pretty much going to be foot to the floor here, or in his case, hands to the floor, or however you want to say that. He's going to be definitely one I think we'll still expect to see do well. I think the hardest part for him is going to be those potentials of the green flag pit entry and exits.
yeah, definitely.
All right, pace car is in. Wait for that green flag to fly. Henry Bennett and Chad Wilkes going to lead him to that green as we are underway here at Michigan. 100 laps is the race distance. As you can see, heading into turn number 1, so pretty much still 2x2, but I think we're going to see that inside line definitely just have that shorter distance. I think that's going to pull them a little forward. But as I say, we got one loose right onto the get-go there. Another, we got big trouble right off the bat. A lot of cars involved there. Craig Forsyth had a bit of a moment. He saved it, but I think I saw a lot of other cars getting caught up in there. We got two stuck together here. John Brill and I say a couple of them finally took a tow there. Looks like Anders Arhus, Gary Corley getting caught up in that one. I think I also see Todd Merkel in that mess as well. So rough start for a couple of these drivers here. So it looks like apparently very loose on the initial kick there on the old tire or cold tires, I should say. So let's go back and see what happened because there's a lot of cars that had some issues there right off the bat.
Yeah, it was actually let's see. I think it was Anders Arhus who lost it before Craig Forsyth did.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back and say, I'm trying to take a look at Craig as well. So we'll jump back to that 10 car here, though. Once I can find him.
You know, one of the things about Michigan is that that very bottom line can make your car quite loose.
And you're right, yeah, the 10 definitely does get loose early. You saw Craig get loose as well. He tries to save it, and I think he does, but then, oh, yeah, one straight into the side. And then Todd Merkel, nowhere for him to go. Matt Wagner as well. Yeah, it looks like he might get away with just a front wing. We'll have to wait and see how much damage. But yeah, a lot of cars, heavy damage in this one. You see, I think that's David Payton, or John Gary Corley. There as we go, 65. He's the one in that green and black Patron car going up and over. So yeah, and so Tim Wright mentioning in the chat, Steve, that yeah, they think it's the bottom groove. That's the culprit for this one. I think they just need to be a little higher up there on the start, and that might be something that the drivers will hopefully be aware of going into it. But you can see, I mean, these. So yeah, you had Gary Corley just stuck with a couple of cars there, trying to come off the bank. You see the 90 is one of those as well, and I believe Anders Arhus was the other one that was initially in that little pile there. So we're gonna jump over to Matt Wagner here. Say again, probably don't want to talk to him yet as he's our interest reporter. Probably doesn't want to. Talk about what happened there. I want to take a look at the car as well, see how it's looking. So it looks like he may have gotten away with it. Looking at his pit stop time, actually he did not pit, so I think he may have lucked out and not been caught up in that one, Steve.
I don't know. It does. I mean, his right front, it looks like, did hit it, unless we're seeing something differently than what he did.
Yeah, and I saw the same thing as you, but now I look at the car and it shows that he did not pit there, and his car looks pretty pristine. So he may have kind of got that little bit of the net code blessing there. We've seen from time to time the Phantom 4X, if you will. So right now the four that are still stuck in the pits are that 10 of Anders Arhus, John Brill in the 90, 81 of Todd Merkel, and the 65 of Gary Corley. Well, obviously fast repairs are going to be in use for those guys. And the question is, we had a few drivers go ahead and top off just to get that little bit teeny extra fuel with Michael Spell, Eric Schaus, Kyle Hess, Dwight Plesh, and Paul Patterson. I don't think there was any fast repairs or anything like that for those guys. So the hope some of those guys in the pits are going to try to see if they can get out of the pits in time before the leaders, but looks like they're going to be stuck behind them here as we get that one to go.
I just watched it from Matt Wagner's in car. I don't know what that car did, but he made a nice avoidance maneuver, and the damage model did some weird things there.
Yeah, so and that's the damage model definitely comes into play here on these guys. So yeah, Dwight Plush, he's topping off on this one to go as well. Looks like the other four still sitting in the pits, unfortunately, waiting for their tow. Actually, looks like Gary Corley, he's going to be the first out of the pits there. Also, that 10 of Anders Arhus, he's able to get out behind as well. I see Todd Merkel move in as well. So yeah, so say I think we got everybody up and running here. Saying apologies for some background noise. I say obviously normally got my daughter, but I said we got our nieces here as well, so they're going to be probably having a little bit too much fun tonight.
It's interesting, Gail. I don't know if it's just how much colder the tires were on that initial start, or the fact that maybe the draft played a role, or what it was. But I mean, I ran laps when I was running laps in practice, and I went into the first turn on my first lap. The car was planted even all the way down on the bottom. So it's just interesting that whatever's different about the start of the race for these guys, that we had two people get out of shape almost at the exact same time for being too low on the track.
Yeah, I say a bonus point for on this one though. Say as you see Henry Bennett back underway here. I say what's going to be helpful here is the fact that they're going to restart single file, so these drivers aren't going to have to worry about any cars to their outside. Hopefully, they'll just be able to run their normal line here on entry and exit. And again, I think you'll see a little bit of additional cautiousness as well. As you can see right now, that number 007 really running that first seam. That's kind of the normal groove that you will run at this kind of a track here. Even in the Cup cars, you really don't want to run that very, very bottom because there's a slight little bit less banking. And it really gets those cars a little looser. So I think we're going to see that seam is going to be probably that magic marker where these drivers really run these cars.
Yeah, typically in the Cup cars, you don't venture below that seam until the car, later in a run when the car starts pushing, helps to loosen you up a little bit on exit.
Yeah, exactly right. So as they jump around a little bit here, see everybody's pretty spread out here to start things off here, get underway again. Let's say you can see Matt Wagner under attack quickly there from Michael Spell, and I'm wondering if this might be Matt still actually having a little bit of damage. And actually, now that I look at it, yeah, his right front wing end plate looks like it's a little, maybe pushing a little bit. It might just be the perspective that I saw there. However, I say, well, it does not look like that car has the speed he might be expecting to have at the moment, or he might be really trying to save some tires here early on. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But up front, though, say the lead pack has closed. As I said, Chad Wilkes, he takes over the top spot there coming into turn 1 and 2, and he's going to lead here going down the back.
Yep, and he's decided to protect the bottom.
Yeah, I think I was saying I talked to some of the drivers. Mentioned Charles Teed was one of those drivers I did talk to during practice, and he mentioned it did seem like you couldn't obviously run the bottom, try to protect a little bit, but it did seem to him like you're going to have to really wheel these cars, and you won't be able to just run the bottom line the whole race. So we'll be curious to see how that comes into play all the way through here. And yeah, I definitely have a feeling that 99 of Matt Wagner, I think he does definitely have some damage to that car that he's going to have to get looked at next time he gets the opportunity. Maybe thought he got away with it, but just doesn't look like that car's up to par here.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
I say Chad Wilkes still trying to protect that inside line, but I say Henry Bennett holding him honest. You can see that outside line does seem to get some pretty decent momentum on the exit. Say with that 17 holding the inside as low as he does, that's going to allow the outside line to get that little bit of momentum on the exits here. I say pretty shortly, I have a feeling we're going to see all the drivers here start to kind of draft back up into this package. You see again 2x2 here, side by side entering turn number 3.
And I wonder if this is going to be kind of the same phenomenon that we had at Indy, where the person in third had trouble, closing in. He wasn't really able to push the outside guy past the inside guy.
Yeah, I think so, because again, these cars definitely, we can't tandem drafts like you can with the Cup cars and things of that nature. You can, but it's very risky and probably going to have some front and or rear wing damage depending on if you're the pusher or pushy. But yeah, right now though, I think a lot of these drivers, I think they're just trying to bide their time and pace themselves a little bit. You can see again the field is starting to close up a little bit here. Looks like we've got about the top. It looks like 8 here, all punched together here. Last one in that group, David Payton in that 38 car. Then they've separated themselves from Michael Spell, who's about another 2 seconds back. So I think right now some of these guys are just kind of in cruise control, just trying to bide their time and be in contention here.
Charles Teed making a move underneath Craig Forsyth. for third place.
Yeah, you're at his third position here. We'll see if he can get the move to stick. He's going to have a little bit of draft. You can see Craig's also got some draft as well from that 007 of Henry Bennett. So it looks like Charles will complete the pass, though. Again, say now the question is, where does Charles go here? We saw him kind of in this same situation at Indy, where you kind of get in that spot there and just try to figure out where you can go on the exit. And it's just finding that right place at the right time. I think right now, the plan's just going to be to probably hit that clean air.
And it's way too early in the race for a 3 wide, so I doubt he'll do that.
Oh, Michigan's wide enough. They can go 3. It's all right. See?
And no sooner did I say that.
The only thing is, with these cars, I mean, right now these tires are still in pretty good shape. They're going to be foot to the floor here. So say Charles with that longer distance around, I don't think that's going to pan out for him. But as you can see, here comes Craig Forsyth. He's going to jump back to the inside with that momentum loss that we just saw there. Actually, as I said, we got a caution in the back. Looks like it might be it's the 10 of Anders Arhus again. Big hit for him. Looks like this one may have been on the exit. I actually see one on the pit entry. Oh, Chad Wilkes, I think, had trouble after the caution came out as well. So we'll take a look at both things there and see what happened to the both of them here. So we're going to start with that number 10, though. We'll see him coming out of turn number 2, see if we can catch what happened, if it just stepped out or what. Or maybe actually looks like he maybe also possibly got arrow tight here behind. No, it's pretty square. Oh, yeah, just steps out at the very exit, and he tries to catch it, but unfortunately at that point the car is just gone. Yeah, so as you can see, he's just, at this point, just along for the ride. They're going to have a pretty hard hit, obviously, to that inside wall. And actually looks like, yeah, right as the wall juts out as well, just to make matters that little bit worse. So actually looks like it almost gets stuck on the pit wall. But then we got to jump over to the 17 of Chad Wilkes, because this is where about the caution came out. You see Chad on the inside line. So I want to see what happened to the 17 car as well. Because at this point the caution is out, as you can see. Oh yeah, he just gets loose on the inside here. Maybe was lifting for the yellow, and unfortunately, just nothing he can do as well. And oh man, brutal hit there right at the pit entry wall. Had his car been able to move out just maybe about 10 more feet after it got loose, he would have been in perfect position there.
I have no idea when that happened. I'm watching it from his in car. He was already off the gas and slowing down.
Yeah, I think that we didn't notice he was on that very, very inside line. I think that bottom groove just might be that treacherous. So it's going to be a big break for Gary Corley. He's going to get one of his laps back here and get that wave around. Todd Merkel is staying, or actually Todd Merkel went ahead and hit the pits, but it actually looks like he's going to cycle out in front of the leaders here. I'm not sure if he did pit or just drove through there, so he might get a wave around here. But the question is going to be, I'm going to be watching the 99 of Matt Wagner, and yeah, you can see he is having a longer pit stop in that 99 car, so damage repairs being done to his car, and I mean, it's already up to a 20-second stop. Now he's down and away, so you can see, didn't use the fast repair, going to try to save it, and so hopefully that's going to be enough to get that car back up to song here without using that fast repair. Actually, well, this might be a decent time. We'll pull Matt in here real quickly. Let's go and find that number 99, so we'll drag him over, get a quick word. All right, Matt, so before we get the one to go, so we were curious if you got caught up in that first incident or not. It looked like initially that you did, but then the car looked pretty clean, but it was pretty apparent afterwards that the pace just wasn't there. I was saying, obviously, a very long pit stop to get the damage repaired manually, so what were you feeling on your end of things after that restart?
The car was severely pushing and did not want to turn whatsoever, even in clean air when I was up top high, and it didn't want to move. I'm going to come back down here in a minute and see if take a look at it again, because I clicked the fast repair and it did not fix it for some reason.
All right. Well, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was wondering what had happened. I thought maybe I watched it from your in car, and it looked like I saw your front tires going all over the place, and then they were back to normal. And I didn't realize you did a fast repair. I figured you just thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's quite weird. I'm looking at my right front right now, and compared to my left, it looks like it's pushed in. I have no idea. It's just pushing like a dump truck right now.
Did you do a faster pair this time, or did you
Yes,
just
it did, and it immediately clicked off.
All right, good.
All right,
Hopefully
well,
you're okay.
now say we'll let you get back up there with the guys. Say see the one to go here. Leaders entering 3. So good luck, Matt, and say hopefully you can rebound from this one.
Oh, we'll see, buddy.
All right, so that is Matt Wagner. We'll see how his race is going to unfold, but we're going to jump back up to our race leader, that 007 of Henry Bennett. Do need to mention that Chad Wilkes is back out on track. There's going to be 3 cars 1 lap down. Gary Corley, Chad Wilkes, and Todd Merkles. So that's going to be the battle to get that lucky dog position, get that lap back, should we get another caution. Restarting here with 85 to go. I think, Steve, this will still be a 3-stop race at this point here. Just one of those stops is going to be definitely a lot shorter. As you can see, Henry Bennett down and away. And it looks like he gets a pretty good start there over that 27 car. But again, so give him about half a lap, and that 27 will be right back on that rear wing.
Gael, I was watching the text chat, and Chad Wilkes said that he doesn't know what happened. It just went around. I've looked at it from a number of different angles, and the only thing I can come up with is, and this may apply to some of the other spins as well, that maybe when those tires hit that bottom seam, it almost seems like that upsets the car.
I think that is a very good potential there, Steve, just because of the fact that that inside line is difference between the inside and the bottom groove and then the seam to that middle groove. Michigan having that little bit of progressive banking, so that's why we've talked about some of these drivers don't want to run that inside line because of that fact. So it is possible. I mean, these cars, again, they're very, very stiffly sprung, so you kind of have that little bit of a difference in banking between the left side, right side tires, and that just might be enough to make that thing snap around.
Yep, and that seam is right where the transition happens, so that could easily be what upsets the car.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. You can see Craig Forsyth, he's going to take the lead over there, entering turn number 1, and you saw there, even with him going on the low side, he did not want to get below that seam. He stayed right there. And I say he's going to go right to the bottom here, try to protect that inside line. I think Craig's thinking about that bonus point as well. Wants to make sure he leads a lap. And it's going to bring Charles Teed right back into the party here. Is actually there. He does kind of run between the two, between the seams there. So looks like that, at least at that point, it worked okay for him. But here comes Charles Teed. He's going to join this party as well. So right now, if you're Charles Teed, I think you just try to find that clean air. And I think one thing I've saw him doing there, Steve, is kind of the high entry and then kind of tuck it back down. As actually he gets a big run there down the back.
Wow.
And it's almost like the 27 slowed up or something like that. And that's going to give Teed here the lead entering turn number 3. We'll see if Charles is able to get this lap led. As you can see, the rest of the field starting to close up as well. Jim Brooks, David Payton, Benjamin Combs, James Ledford, all in this little pack now up front.
That was a hell of a run that Teed had there.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, like I said, it almost looked like the 27 like pulled his brake or something kind of there. So right now, you see Craig got a little tight there, able to keep it off the wall there. But yeah, right now these guys are all starting to fan out a little bit here, trying to find that clean air. And I think that's what we're going to see is everybody's going to try to stagger out, try to find that gap in the draft, and keep the clean air on the nose of these cars to help them turn that little bit better. And of course, as we haven't really talked about yet, also is all those in-car adjustments they can be making with the weight jacker. The front rear ARBs. I mean, those are things that they can do to try to help that car out when it's in this dirty air here.
Yep, that's right. And we also don't know if people had adjusted those, maybe even on the start, which may have played a role in people getting too loose on the inside.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. So right now, riding on board here, we're looking out back from Charles Teed, looking at the field behind him. So this is definitely the view he would like to see us. Is the view he had at the end of the Indianapolis race as well. So say he's hoping to go 2 for 2 here, but long ways to go. Say haven't even got to quarter distance yet, and that'll be the next question too. Is what do the pit strategies? What will we see? Does anybody short pit, or are they just going to run these things dry or not? So should be interesting. But right now, say he's able to actually. I think Charles right now he's been able to hold this gap out front a lot better than some of these other drivers thus far.
Yeah, he definitely has, and that may have something to do with Craig Forsyth and Henry Bennett running side by side behind him.
Yeah, I'd say what he can do here, if you are that 0-5, is maybe you try to kind of play both lines of the draft and try to kind of keep them side by side so neither can get that big run on you. So we'll be curious to see how that goes. Right now, I'll say One of the bigger movers so far is that 38 of David Payton. He's on the inside line in that red and black car. Started in 13th, he's up to 5th, battling for 4th with Jim Brooks. I think he just grabbed that 4th position here, entering turn number 3. So a good start for that 38 car, trying to work his way forward early on. He does get that 4th spot. And also not too far behind there, Michael Spell and Eric Schaus, 15th, 16th, respectively, qualifying positions. They're running in 7th and 8th. So keep an eye on Matt Wagner. It seems like he is able to, he's keeping up definitely better than what he was. I don't know if it's maybe at full speed yet. So I didn't quite understand if he said that when he said it clicked off, if that meant that it didn't use the fast repair or if it used it and it went away. So maybe a later time we'll go ahead and ask him and check in on that. But right now, pretty much the whole top 13, it looks like for the most part, are right at the edge of the draft. Right now, Paul Patterson's kind of right on the cusp of losing that draft in the 26 car, but I say he might. I think these cars usually about 2 seconds is that magic window, Steve, where you can kind of close that gap back up.
Yeah, Matt's on the move back there. He just passed 2 cars. I think he's fine.
He maybe is saving his tires early and then let those guys fight it out early and then take advantage of it a little bit later on. I think we're seeing the same thing from Eric Schaus as well. I think he's just kind of on cruise control here. Because there's a lot of dicing up going on. So you see Chad Wilkes, he's in there as well. He's unfortunately 1 lap down when that car snapped on him under that caution. Once he backed off for that yellow. So right now he's actually looking maybe trying to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. As now you see Matt Wagner jumps to the inside of Eric Schaus, looking for that 8th position. But right now it looks like Eric's going to hold it for the time being. So yeah, things are kind of settled in here, Steve. Let's say now we have got to the quarter distance, so 73 to go here. You see again, still that 05 Charles T doing a really good job controlling this pace here, though. Like I said at the beginning, we saw Henry Bennett having to kind of fight those guys, and sometimes we see the inside line kind of protect down the straightaways. But it seems like Charles T, he's able to just kind of run middle, top, bottom. And these guys just aren't able to pull up on him. So whatever that 05's got going on right now, he's got something figured out where that car is, I think, working a little bit better than these guys around him. Maybe found just the exact adjustments that he needs to keep that car out front.
Yeah, I'm sure that also having the aero advantage of not having a car in front of you.
Yeah, that usually helps, having some clean air in front of these cars. I say, and that's what you see again. You see all these drivers just trying to jockey for a position, trying to find the clean air on the front of these cars. I say once you get to about this 5th place where Jim Brooks is, and the 38 there's 77, you can see all of them trying to find a different groove here. Because see, if you run that tire tracks of that car in front of you, you're going to be having to roll out of that throttle and try not to push up into that outside wall. So this is where you're going to see that 3rd line come into play. You see right there that 38 running really high. Jim sees that he's going to run the middle line. You see Michael Spell, he's running all the way at the yellow line there. I think, like you said, those tires now have come up to temperature pressures. I think that inside line is a little bit safer now for these guys to use now.
Clean air, that's the word I was looking for.
Clean air is king with these cars, that is for sure. However, I say that at the same time, though, the draft plays a really big role as well. So it's one of those double-edged swords where you love the clean air because it helps your car turn better, but you feel like you got a giant parachute in the back of that car as well if you get somebody behind you.
So Matt Wagner has definitely crept back into the picture. He is right up there with this lead pack now.
Yeah, he's up to 7 now. You can see slowly but surely creeping his way forward here. So I think this is the way to do it. You don't want to push too hard to really just kind of slowly work your way forward here. And right now, it seems like it has been a little bit of a comers and goers here. You see Craig Forsyth, he's starting to put a little bit of pressure now on that 05 of Charles. He'd almost like Craig wanted to try to do the over-under there, but Charles is in the right spot to prevent that from happening. So he's going to stay in line here in that 2nd spot here. As you can see, here goes that snake, though. Everybody's following right on the tire tracks of those guys down the straightaway, wanting to use all that draft you possibly can. You see Chad Wilkes. Yeah, so even though he's a lap down, Steve, he's working his way back up there. I say Chad's been more. I say we've seen Chad plenty in Area 51, but it's been more on the Cup side of things. I say it just doesn't look like it's taking him long to get a hang of these Indy cars, though. He's been dicing up here very quickly and early. So unfortunately had that little bit of a mishap, but he's in a good spot. Oh, as I said, caution is out. It looks like it's away from the pack here. It's actually at the entry. Oh, John Brill, big hit on that inside line. Let's go back and see what happened to John. This is going to be a big break for a lot of these leaders, though, because they're probably about 5 or so laps away from a green flag pit stop, and I think that was definitely a concern on a lot of their parts.
He just lost it down in that bottom groove again.
Yeah, so taking a look now here. Yeah, you're right. You see he starts arcing it down to the inside. I wonder if he was slowing down to make a pit stop. I'm not sure if maybe he stayed out to try to get one of those laps back. So maybe he was a little bit off sequence. And yeah, you can see kind of straddling that line, and just the car just steps out away from him. And what you're going to see here is I think we're going to see him try to catch it, and then unfortunately when it bites, it's going to bite back the wrong way and hard. And yeah, just heavy impact to the front and the rear. You see all the body parts and wings fly off that car. But luckily, just a solo incident. You see Todd Merkel able to sneak by that. It's going to be a big break for Todd as well. Maybe get him in a position to be able to actually get one of his laps back, because he actually had just pitted about 3 laps ago. So I think this is actually going to work very well for that 81 car, as I think we're going to see all the leaders hit the pits this time. So I think this is also going to be a big break for Chad Wilkes. It's going to give Chad his lap back, get him back into contention. So yeah, here comes Charles Teed leading the field in. So yeah, Chad's going to get one of his laps back right off the bat here. And I would suspect we're going to see Todd Merkel stay out in the 81 car. Yeah, he does. So he's going to stay out, get a waiver, and get one of his laps back. However, Todd's got to be careful here. It's a pretty quick pit stop for these guys, so he's got to make sure he exits in front of the leaders here. You see Charles Teed looks like he overshoots. Craig Forsyth overshoots as well. It's going to really change the running order here. I think Henry Bennett's going to get the benefit of this one, and say, so we're going to see definitely some cycles. Craig still can't hit his pit stall there.
Oh no.
And yeah, you can see, so it's going to be Henry Bennett, David Payton, Matt Wagner. Matt Wagner, I think the biggest gainer on that pit stop cycle, now going to restart up in that 3rd position.
So that's a great recovery for Matt Wagner.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was looking for. And like I mentioned, Chad Wilkes, he's going to hit the pits now. He's getting his lap back on the lead lap. And then, like we said, mentioned Todd Merkel. Todd's going to stay out here. Currently 2 laps down. We're right now in the tail end of 1 lap down, I should say. So he's going to go back to just 1 lap down. And so that'll put him in the fight between himself and that 65 of Gary Corley. So I think that's going to be a really good thing here for Todd as well. Like I said, he's basically on fresh tires and fuel here. He just pitted under that green flag pit stop there, so that's why he got trapped a lap down.
I've had stuff like that happen to me in the pits, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah, you always feel like the caution's going to come out at exactly the wrong time for you. And I was going to bring up the point that maybe we'd see somebody make a pit stop like once you got to that magic window of that, like just in under 75 to go kind of a thing. That way you kind of get out of all the traffic and just have some clean air to yourself. But I think it's just too risky, because you have that potential of the of getting trapped a lap down with that caution, like exactly what happened to Todd Merkel there. So yeah, so I like the. It's always fun to make those strategy calls, but with these cars so fast, it's really hard to do, unfortunately.
Yep.
All right, Steve. So we're going to restart here with 64 to go. Henry Bennett going to take over again up at the point after some pit road miscues. Worst of which hit the 27 of Craig Forsyth. He came in the top 3. See, he's all the way back to about the 10th position. It looks like 9th position. So Craig's going to have to work his way back up there. Again, luckily, though, still early on here, not even halfway. So I think Craig can definitely work his way back up there, but definitely won't be an easy task, though, for him.
No, I think it's going to be super challenging. It's going to be interesting to watch how he's able to maneuver through these guys, or if he is.
Yeah, knowing Craig, I think he'll find a way through. He's just got the same thing, kind of like we saw. I think we saw Matt Wagner. I think that's the perfect way to do it, is just to kind of maybe take it a little bit easy to start things off, and then slowly but surely kind of pick your way through. So we'll have to wait and see. But also David Payton, again, we've mentioned him kind of climbing up the field here. He's going to restart in 2nd position here. This will be a really good opportunity for him to try to get a lap lead, maybe try to control this race as well. Say David, again, started from 13th, now up into the 2nd here. So So you see green flag is back out. Henry Bennett again gets a nice little lead here to kick things off, but again, say give it about to that backstretch maybe on the first lap, and then we'll see that 38 right back on that rear wing. Feel pretty spread out. You see Eric Schaus, he's got a nice little gap behind him. I believe that's to Dwight Plush in the 44. So say that's going to be, again, they got to make sure that they stay within that 2-second margin. As actually Matt Wagner, he's going to be the one that wastes no time. He's going to try to get underneath. Oh, no. Contact between the two. But I think they're going to get away with it. I'd say we saw the 38s. Yeah, I think that's going to be just a little bit of side-to-side contact. Somehow those two stay up and running. So I think it was just enough, or just light enough contact where they're going to get away with it. We saw the tire look like it was going to come apart, so it's just unfortunate with iRacing. It does that from time to time. So now the question is, do David Payton, do Matt Wagner, do they have any damage to their front wing end plates or anywhere else on the cars that might be affecting the handling? But right now it looks like they're all both holding in pretty well here. Matt might look a little tight to me, but looks like they're hanging on pretty well though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was extremely light contact and maybe just tire to tire. Probably a good thing that it's pretty hard to blow a tire in iRacing, so I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, so I'm sure pucker factor was at 11 there. As you can see, actually, Henry Bennett, he's going to run the middle line there. That's going to give a big advantage to Matt Wagner down that backstretch here. And so you see, we'll see if Matt can clear this time the 38. 38 again gets a great run on the outside. He's going to hold on to the spot for the moment. But it's almost a mirror image of what we saw just a little bit ago between those two through 3 and 4, that couple ups before. And this is the momentum we talked about, Steve. You see Matt was able to kind of get right to Henry Bennett when he had to kind of hold the inside line here. So I think, and this is where, again, Matt's going to have to try to keep that that 007 pinned down just a little bit if he can, steal a little bit of draft on the exit. And that's going to be where you kind of make up some time here. So also, when we haven't really talked about either, Benjamin Combs, he's right here in the 5th position in a really good spot here, just kind of right behind the 2x2 battle up front here. I think Benjamin is in a really good position and a pretty nice spot to watch this battle as well here in that number 77 car. So, and then right behind him, Eric Schaus in the 72 car.
It's kind of the catbird seat. Just kind of sit there and enjoy the show that's going on up ahead of you and be ready to take advantage if somebody messes up.
Yeah, actually, as we say that, Matt Wagner does jump in front here. We'll see if he gets a lap led in the 99. It's going to be close at the line. I think Henry Bennett just edged him across the line before he got to there, so I don't think Matt's got that lap led that he's been looking for yet.
I think probably the only way he's going to be able to do it is if he can get underneath Henry Bennett. As I say that, here he goes.
Oh, we got one spinning on the infield. Caution is out. Looks like it's the 71 here. Yeah, Tom Miles. So he went pretty much nose first into that inside wall. It's going to bring the caution back out. And I think that caution is going to come out right as Matt Wagner took that lead over. So it's definitely going to be able to take advantage and get that lap led. Let's go see what happened here to bring this caution out. I think this might just be another case of a car getting loose here. You will see coming out of turn number 2. Looks like he's right on the seam there, now just above the seam. But I think we saw another driver have this happen earlier as he comes out of turn number 2. Just the back starts to step out. I think it was actually the 10 of Anders Aarhus. And yeah, almost picture perfect, or not really perfect, but identical of what we saw from that number 10. Just steps out the very, very exit of turn number 2. And then again, unfortunately, just nowhere for him to go. He's just going to head straight down into the pit hole. Yeah, actually, if you look at that, Steve, almost hits at the identical spot where that number 10 hit, where the 71 wound up hitting this time as well.
Take a look at it. Was it by any chance when the right side tires hit the seam that happened?
I didn't see the seams on that side, so I'm not 100% sure there. However, he was able to drive it to the pits and get back out, so he's going to stay on the lead lap. We got some mixed strategy here on the pit stops, though. Looks like Henry Bennett is in. Matt Wagner stays out. Charles T. David Payton, Benjamin Combs, they all stay out as well. Then Eric Schaus, Craig Forsyth, Dwight Plush, Michael Spell, they hit the pits also. And I believe Gary Corley will jump over that 65 car. I think he should be the lucky dog here, get his lap back in that 65 machine. Yeah, you see him working his way up to the top here. He's going to clear around here. and that's going to leave just Todd Merkel as the only car one lap down. And I'll say, so basically Todd here hoping to keep that car clean and in one piece here. But that being said, though, Steve, I got to give a hats off also. Ivan Pla, unfortunately, looks like missed the start of the race here. So he's showing as 34 laps down. However, we've had a couple retirements with the 90 of John Brill, unfortunately, as well as Anders Arhus. Both those guys have retired. So that's going to be 2 spots for Ivan here. But I mean, how many drivers do you know that missed the first 30 or so laps of a race, but still come in and are gonna, looks like they're gonna run this thing out?
Not many. That's dedication right there.
Yeah, I really like that from Ivan. So that's the kind of stuff you want to see in these leagues, and so hats off to him for kind of the commitment to that. I say hopefully everything was okay to miss the start. Obviously we've definitely seen some connection hardware issues, things of that nature before. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye and see. Let's say, well, to be fair though, if Todd Merkel, if he does get a lap back here, I don't think we're going to have 33 more yellows, but any more yellows we do get, it might benefit that 75 car.
I've looked at the 71 crash a few times. I don't think it was the seam that got him. It looks like he had a kind of a push loose, and there's a little bit of a hump at the transition on exit if you're way out towards the wall. And it looks like when he hit that thing, the car just kind of took off to the left.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. So it looks like only Chad Wilkes here going to top off here on this one to go in that 17 car. We're going to be restarting here, Steve. 55 to go. We talked about the fuel window. If you're up front controlling this thing being about 50 laps, maybe if you're saving a little bit of fuel, you might be able to, or sorry, being about 25 laps, I should say. I'm sorry. If you save a little bit, maybe you get to like 27 or so. I think I've heard that number thrown around as well. So it's going to be, for some drivers, maybe right on the absolute edge of a one stopper, or it might be 2 stopper with like a normal stop and then just a splash of fuel at the end. The only thing for Matt Wagner, the top 7 drivers all went ahead and stayed out. But Henry Bennett's going to be the first on new tires, new fuel, and about 9 laps more fuel than those ones in front of him.
Interesting choice by the guys up front. I think I probably would have pitted there.
I'm thinking they probably figure it's going to be a 2-stop regardless, so I think that's the decision to stay out here. But yeah, I mean we've seen it from time to time again. So I think Chad Wilkes, he's going to be the one that I'm going to keep an eye on in that 17 car to see if he's going to go full fuel save. I know he's a good fuel saver on the Cup side, so maybe he's going to try to work some magic here on this Indy Series as well. As you see, Matt Wagner going to lead things up. We'll look from the back end, so you'll see how he's able to jump whenever he is ready. And he is down and away. Now Charles Teed's got to try to react as quick as he can and follow the toe, get that draft here as we get back underway. 55 laps to go here.
Looks pretty orderly. See how long it takes him to close up.
Yeah, so it usually just takes a little bit here. You see Craig Forsyth working underneath a couple cars. It looks like he's going to get 2 quick early spots right away. I think he was able to jump around Eric Schaus there, and I believe, I'm trying to see who the other one he got around there was. I thought I saw him get 2. Tom Miles as well, so he's going to grab that spot as well. So move Craig back up into that top 10 again. Say, unfortunately, had that little bit of a pit miscue that sent him back a little bit. However, we're going to jump back up front because now you got Charles Teed working underneath Matt Wagner here for the top spot. And again, we mentioned David Payton hasn't got that lap lead he was looking for. We saw that close contact between the 99 and the 38. Looks like both cars unscathed from it, though, as actually neither of them actually pitted, which, again, a little bit of a surprise. You would have thought one of them might feel like they might want to check if there's any damage to repair.
Yeah, I'm just thinking as well as they were running, both up there competing for the lead, they must have felt, they didn't feel anything wrong with the car and they didn't sense any loss of speed. So I could see why they would have gone with that strategy if that's what they wanted to do and not worried about damage to the car.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we've seen Matt Wagner up front. It's not like he's fallen off pace in clean air either. So I think you're right. I think that pace is still there in that 99 car. Another driver I haven't mentioned, Kyle Hess. He's now in the top 5. Started 17th up into that top 5 here. So As they also stayed out under that yellow, but one of the, again, I think right now the highest climber of this race here is he's right on the back wing of Benjamin Combs here. Again, so right now the top 7 cars have still did not pit under that yellow, and that has not changed position-wise. Henry Bennett's still the first of those that went ahead and did make that pit stop. But right now things holding pretty steady up front. Charles Teed, Matt Wagner put on a pretty good show here for that lead.
Definitely, and it looks like we've got a 5-car battle for the lead now.
And unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened. I was watching some other stuff, and now I'm noticing Chad Wilkes actually looks like he went ahead and retired from the race. So he was going to be the one for me to watch on the fuel saving side of things, but it looks like he's down, not in the race anymore. So unfortunately, that's going to leave us to kind of curious to see if anybody's going to try to make something happen. Right now, Henry Bennett, he does seem like I feel like Henry is being a little more patient than we've seen him work his way up to the front earlier. Right now it looks like he's kind of in cruise control here in that 007 car, so I wonder if he's maybe just trying to stretch that fuel out as far as he can here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that he's probably doing, taking it easy on the fuel and the tires.
Yeah, it's a good point too. It looks like he did fuel only on his pit stop, no tires. I think that's just to try to hold that track position. As you see, yeah, he's getting really good runs here. You see he's going to jump to the inside, look underneath Jim Brooks. Looks like he's going to fall back in line there, just in front of James Ledford. So I think that's right now. I think the top 2 that pitted here are right now that 007 Henry Bennett, Craig Forsyth in the 27. So, I mean, if I'm them, yeah, I think this is where you just try to go full fuel save, hope for that green flag run. Because right now the leaders, they can probably go, we'll say, 8 to 10 more laps. I think with that caution flag, I think probably 8 to 10 window is a pretty safe assumption.
Let's see, they last pitted lap 34. We're at 52.
Yeah, it's been about 19 laps since their last pit stop for those that did not pit.
So yeah, we would expect the guys up front, as hard as they're running, if it's 25 laps on a run, they're going to have to pit in 5 or 6 more laps.
Yeah, I think they might get away with another couple laps just with the fact that they had that caution. So they're going full fuel save, going to that caution fuel mixture to save as much fuel as possible. But yeah, I think we will see them, like you said, though. I think we'll see them within maybe 7-8 laps, even for those up front. Maybe those that are kind of in the cruise control, like Jim Brooks, Kyle Hess. Maybe they can stretch it another lap or 2 from there. But again, though, Henry Bennett, Craig Forsyth, they're going to be able to go about almost 10 laps further than them, especially right now with where they're sitting here in this fuel saving position. So that's if we get there, though, because it is getting dicey back up front here.
Yeah, that was a good point about the laps under caution.
See right now, Matt Wagner, Charles Teed putting on a really good show. David Payton, he's going to join the party. It looks like he's seen going to the inside following the draft of the 99, but not enough to clear or get underneath, I should say, Charles Teed. Charles is going to be able to hold that line. As you can see, Charles running that middle groove here against Steve to try to keep that clean air on the nose of that number 05 car.
Yep, and he actually passed David Payton on the outside a little while ago. So I'm thinking that, other than trying to pass for the lead, that you can actually make passes on the outside farther back in the pack.
And I mean, it seems like that might be a theme that we might be seeing here as the season goes on, because we saw the same thing at Indy where you try to make a pass on the inside, but the momentum was up on the top side. So I think the top line might be, again, where you can kind of keep that momentum up. And also, I think it's going to really depend on where that 99 of Matt Wagner is. If Matt's running that inside line, you try to follow in behind him, and you're not going to have the clean air on your nose, and you're not going to be able to make that move. So I think that's going to play a big role as well, as to try to keep that clean air. As you can see, Jim Brooks right there up in the third, almost fourth groove even, trying to find that clean air on that 76 car as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that helps them get a better run coming off the turns.
Yeah, that it definitely does seem to do. So right now we're leaders are on lap 23 since they last pitted. So say again, not too far away, probably about 5 more laps is my rough estimation, especially for the leaders. I saw one get loose there off of turn number 2, trying to see who that was. And so you see he backed off to make sure, I think, play it safe there. I think that seems to be turn 2, exit of turn 2 seems to be definitely a trouble spot here tonight.
I wonder whether these guys up in the lead that are going to have to pit under green soon are starting to wish for a yellow.
I'm not sure. I could see it both ways. If they feel like they might if someone else can stretch it and make it a one-stopper, yeah, they're going to be hoping for a yellow. But at the same time, with the competitors that these guys are, a lot of them really like the challenge of that green flag pit stop where they can kind of try to make or break the gap of some of the guys around them. I know on the Super Speedway Series on Sundays, that's definitely the goal for a lot of the drivers. They want to get to that green flag pit stop to really try to kind of really make, that's where you kind of make the race, if you will. So I think with these guys, again, as competitive as they are, I think this is where they're going to want to see it. But on the competitor side of things as well, though, knowing that, hey, we may have made the wrong pit call for someone like Henry Bennett, Craig Forsyth might be trying to go full fuel save. That might be where they think, ah, man, yeah, we're going to need a yellow to not get hosed here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say, speaking of Henry Bennett, he's back up into that top 5 now, working over Jim Brooks as well. Actually, that's a battle for the 5th position, I should say, with that 76 and the 007. See Benjamin Combs right there as well. Again, you see Jim almost running to the wall here, trying to get that clean air on that 76 car. I think that's just also a product of right now how long they've been out under green. I think these tires are starting to show their age as well. That's going to be another thing for that pit stop, is these are going to be older tires. They're going to have to really be on top of the radio, letting drivers know, hey, I'm going to be pitting here. Make sure that they don't. Never mind. So I think Jim actually just skimmed the wall a little bit there on the 76 car. I saw the tire disappear for a moment. It's back on there now, but yeah. So I say usually when that happens, that means there's a little bit of contact with that outside wall. So maybe that 76 running just a little bit too high here.
He is getting good run off the turns, though. I've noticed a lot of these guys are starting to stay in the high line.
Yeah, Benjamin Combs had a big wiggle there off of turn number 2. Hangs on to it, though. And saying, here comes, we're on lap number, about to come to lap 28, Steve. So say we're going to have to keep an eye up front. Leaders still stay out, though. So say I think we'll be seeing that pit stop here shortly. And based on that, though, Steve, again, we talked about that 10-lap difference. Right now we're at 39 to go, so that would get the leaders that did pit under 30 to go. So that fuel mileage, it's going to be very tight for all those that pitted there.
Let's see. Gary Corley just announced that he was pitting.
All right, so I think we'll see then. I suspect that means we'll see Gary Corley coming in this time around. So the question is, does he need to do the same as Matt Wagner or not? Or can Matt maybe go an extra lap? Maybe he was able to save a little bit more earlier in the run. And I also do see actually the 65 of Gary Corley. He's in the pits. I'm sorry, that's one actually you just mentioned. I apologize.
Yep, these guys are all pitting now.
Oh, this is going to get dicey, Steve. This is where you get nervous for these guys. And so you got to make sure that you give each other enough room. So you want to obviously stay a little bit apart from one another. You want to try to obviously stretch the extra lap. Looks like actually Jim Brooks is going to stretch another lap, as is Kyle Hess. But looks like pit entry, good job by those guys. They're going to get in clean. So that's going to now cycle things over to this 86 car of Kyle Hess. Jim Brooks right behind him. And I mean, based on this, we know they got to pit this time around because they probably were going as far as they could. Now they just got to hope they don't sputter here coming to their pit stop.
We've got 36 laps left. Can the guys that pitted on the last caution go another 10 laps? If they can, they're going to be able to do this as a one-stop race, whereas these guys that are pitting right now are still going to have to take another pit stop.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
If it stays green.
If it stays green. But the one thing that's going to be good, I mean, if you're one of these guys, I mean, right now, unfortunately for Henry Bennett, he's now back up in the lead here, so he's going to be breaking all this air. He's going to be using max fuel. If you're Craig Forsyth, Eric Schaus now, we haven't talked a ton about him. He's up to third here. Michael Spell, we know he's a good fuel saver as well. And Tom Miles, I mean, Tom was in that last incident. He's right here up in here in this pack as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential here. So, I mean, I'm thinking if you're Craig Forsyth, Eric Schaus, you're probably full fuel save on these two cars right now. And again, what you're probably thinking too is you think about the guys that just pitted here. It looks like Charles Teed's going to be the first of those. Well, actually, now that I say that, it looks like it's going to be David Payton. You know these guys are going to be coming pretty much like a bat out of hell right now. So if I'm one of those guys, you say, hey, let's let these guys get back to the front with their fresh tires, and we're just going to be able to maybe try to steal some more draft off them, save that even more little bit of fuel.
I like that strategy. Craig Forsyth just into the pits.
All right, well, say that, so that throws that strategy out the window for Craig. So that's going to leave Eric Schaus, I say again, Henry Bennett, I don't think he can stretch that far at this point with that 007 car. With him leading right now, you just can't save the fuel. But if you're Eric Schaus, we know he's kind of Mr. Fuel Save. We know Michael Spell's a good fuel saver as well. Tom Miles, he might be able to do something as well. I think Tom did pit a little before those guys with that caution, so it's going to be curious here. Say that being said, though, the leaders haven't got, or I should say, the leaders that pitted haven't got back up to them yet. Right now, Charles Teed, the first of those, as I said, though, 3 wide behind him there with Matt Wagner, the 38 there, and I'm trying to see the 4th car in line there. I think, trying to catch what car number that was. I think it's Kyle Hess. Yep, that's what it is.
How many more laps can these guys go?
Well, you look how I think this is exactly what's happening right now. You see Michael Spell, he's not leaving the rear wing of Eric Schaus. Eric Schaus, you know he could suck up closer to that 007 Henry Bennett. I think these guys are showing their hand right now. They're hoping that this is going to go green. They're playing this fuel mileage game right now. This is going to be the strategy for them to try to get a win here tonight. As again, I think the other thing that, again, they're going to be waiting for is they want these guys like Charles Teed, Matt Wagner. They want them to get back around them, get in front of them, just to be able to save that extra bit of fuel. As they say that, Michael Spell, actually, he's going to jump to the inside. And I suspect if you're Eric Schaus, you're just going to let him go. You're going to fall in behind. Oh, I see one, I think, going into the grass. The 71, Tom Miles. Oh, that's going to change everything, Steve. Caution is out.
Yep, and that's really worked out well for the guys up front, because you've got a bunch of cars, a bunch of really competitive cars that are still trapped a lap down. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to pit here. Well, maybe not.
I think they'll take the wave around. Yeah, so we're looking at, we're watching this thing. That's a weird one, Steve. He was on the trial at that point. Just he was on the seam though between the bottom line and the second groove, and then just for whatever reason that just snapped that car around on him, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate what the caution came out for. Say Tom was one that we were going to be keeping an eye on the fuel side of things. But yeah, so say we're back under yellow here. As we'll jump back live. So yeah, so right now you can see we've got about, it looks like 6 cars still on the lead lap with Henry Bennett, Michael Spell, Eric Schaus, Dwight Plesh, Tom Miles, and Paul Patterson. And I believe Charles Teed is going to get that wave round in that 05 car. This will be a good thing for Charles, is he can actually pit with these guys, get that fuel mileage to have a little bit more fuel than those guys that pitted with him. But at the same time, he's going to have to... Actually, no, this is going to work out really well for Charles T. He's basically going to restart, I think, about 7th, because you know everybody else is going to be taking the wave around here.
All right, so that would just put him in front of all the... Oh, he's going to get to pit and get tires.
Exactly, yeah. So he's going to get fuel and tires in that 05 car. He's going to have to restart behind all these other guys, unfortunately. But like I said... he's still going to be restarting in front of Matt Wagner, David Payton, Kyle Hess, Jim Brooks, and all those other guys. Let's see a couple, actually. I'm a little surprised a few are actually pitting here. I think I saw Benjamin Combs, or no, maybe I saw the wrong paint scheme. Sorry. So yeah, it looks like just the top 6 pitting, and yeah, exactly like we said, looks like everybody else, they're all going to stay out here. I say Henry Bennett, he's going to be the first to hit his pit stall. So this worked out very well for him. Eric Schaus, Michael Spell works very well for those guys. They're going to come out in the top 3 positions. And yeah, as we mentioned, Charles Teed, he's getting that wave around now. We'll see him duck on into the pits here and go ahead and get some service to that 05 car as well. And the other thing is, I think if you're Charles Teed, you might even be able to top off on the 1 to go and still cycle out in front of those guys that are going to take this wave around on the 1 to go. I don't know if he'll do that or not, but if I'm him, I might try that strategy.
Well, wouldn't it be good for the top 6 to all do that?
Let's see. Well, we're at 29 to go. You know what? It would. Just whether or not any of them will. I think at least somebody's going to try it. I mean, at this point, I think if you're one of those ones that's further towards the back, like a Dwight Plesh, Paul Patterson, Tom Miles, I think for sure you try it. I'm not sure about Henry Bennett, Michael Spell, Eric Schaus. You know they're going to want to keep that track position. It's just, yeah, it's gonna be curious to see how this is gonna work out. So we'll keep an eye on the pit entry, see if anybody's gonna go here, because we're gonna get the one to go this time around, and saying that's gonna, you'll see all these wave rounds, but this would be the opportunity. Does anybody go? See Todd Merkel. Actually, Todd should not have pitted there because he was one of the wave round cars. Michael Speldo, he's going to be, it looks like at the moment, the only one to do so. We'll see about the 05 of Charles T. Does he come in? Nope, Charles T stays out. So Michael Spell's going to be the only one to top off here, Steve, which is going to be right on the edge of that fuel window.
Yeah, we're right now at 28 laps to go. It's gonna be real close.
Yeah, so we're going to restart with 27 to go. And look who's rolling the apron there, Steve.
It looks like Eric Schaus.
Well, we know what that means. We know his plan here.
Yep.
All right, so what I'm going to be watching too is to see, I want to see where the 88 of Michael Spell comes back out, because I think he's going to restart here right with these guys still in the 88 car. So it's not going to be, like I said, it's not going to be a huge loss for him. He's going to come out behind the 05 of Charles T. to say Charles is getting that wave round. So he's going to, again, even with the wave round, usually you restart behind all the lead lap or lap down cars as well. With all those wave rounds, you still get to cycle back out in front of them. So Charles Teed's going to still actually wind up restarting now in that 6th position.
And that's why I think all of these guys should have topped off. Because now the wave around cars, you got a bunch of people who they still have to pit, and they're on older tires.
Yep, you're exactly right. So say Michael Spell, the only one of those to do so. So we'll see how this is going to pan out for those guys. But again, with so many of them staying out, maybe they feel like they're good to go on that field number, or they just don't think it's worth the risk. As Henry Bennett, he's going to drop things down and go. As he actually saw one jump to the inside. I think that was it's Tom Miles. He's going to fall to the back here, I think. A little surprised about that. I think he was where he was supposed to be, but maybe just with that caution, didn't want to be in the mix of these things right now. So we'll keep an eye on him as well. But now I say we'll be watching that 72 of Eric Schaus. I think we're not going to see him leave that rear wing of that 007 of Henry Bennett anymore this race right now. Well, if things continue as they are.
Yep, definitely. If I'm Eric Schaus, I am drafting for all my life. The whole rest of the way.
Saying with that good restart too, he doesn't have to worry about being really aggressive to catch the draft back up to that 007 as well. So, like I said, he's able to save right away, very quickly, very early on. I got to give a shout out to Dwight Plush, though. He's right now running in that 3rd position. We've talked about Dwight before, where kind of just bides his time, stays out of trouble, and then capitalizes when he needs to. And he's exactly in that position right now. He's in that 3rd spot here. The problem for him is he's going to probably have to burn a little bit of fuel to get to Eric Schaus. And then same thing goes for a little further back there. Paul Patterson also having a great run right now in that top 5. And of course, Charles T to say getting that wave round. He's already back in the 5th position there. So that him getting to the front of those first cars one lap down is a huge break for him. Matt Wagner, though, he's going to waste no time trying to get some more positions. And then Michael Spell, he's the one that topped off. We'll have to keep an eye on him, see how aggressive is he going to be, or is he going to kind of stay fuel save mode. Because he's got about 9 more laps than Matt Wagner, so you would think he would just go ahead and let Matt go and save some more fuel, I should say, in the 88 car as they get close there off of turn number 4. I'm curious to see what the strategy is going to be for some of these guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as close as it is to the fuel window, I think that most of these guys up front, or all of them, are definitely going to be leaning towards saving fuel.
Well, other than Henry Bennett.
Yeah, Charles T doesn't have to save quite as much because he topped off, but I'm sure he's still being careful.
Yeah, so the problem for a lot of these guys is they're having to close the gap. I mean, you know how much fuel that's going to burn to kind of bring that gap back to where you need it to be. So if you're those guys that got the wave rounds like Matt Wagner, David Payne, Craig Forsyth and company, there's no point saving fuel. You might as well just do everything you can. Just go all out, get your track position back, and kind of hope for yellow to bring yourself back into the fight here. But yeah, I mean, I think right now Henry Bennett, as you can see, I think Henry's in the same boat. He does not want to lead this race now. That's going to give Eric Schaus the lead, so I'm curious to see if Eric's going to give it right on back or not. So I think this is going to be one of those races where it's going to be one of those, after you, no, after you.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm these guys and I see Matt Wagner coming, I'll be like, come on, Matt, come up here. You can lead.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that might be where Matt says, you know what, actually, I don't want to lead because I don't want to do anything that's going to help your race out in general either. So this might be where it's one of those things where you actually have to really strategize. Oh, you see one catch the wall a little bit there, trying to catch the car number. So it looks like he's getting away with it. So it's right by the 77 there. Benjamin Cones, they go 3 wide here. Oh, I think that was Paul Patterson on 26. Yeah, it was Paul Patterson. It looks like he's going to get away with it also. We saw similar happen in Jim Brooks earlier. He caught the wall just a little bit, but yeah, it looks like that Valvoline car is still going to be able to keep on going here. And actually, as you mentioned, Matt Wagner, he is down on the inside line. I think he actually lost a little bit of momentum there down the back.
Yeah, I think he got a little loose coming off it too and had a pucker moment there.
Those are never enjoyable. So great save though by Matt to do so. And yeah, so Eric Schaus though, he's back out in front. I think right now none of these guys want to lead, but how do you not lead at this point? Just because unless you slow the pace down so much. I say that you see David Payton. This could be. Oh, it is. This is the break to those guys the wave runs were looking for. Unfortunate for David Payton, he's going to make heavy contact with that wall. But that is going to put us back under yellow, and that's going to put the fuel mileage out of the strategy. Now from here, it's just going to be all-out brawl to the end.
That's a shame for David Payton. He had a good run going tonight.
Yeah, David was really strong tonight. We'll see. I think this is going to be a push loose, Steve, because you see he's right in the wake of the 44, and yeah, just steps right on him. Again, identical to what we've been seeing here tonight. And I say, again, look where he hits as well. Just a little further towards the back, but again, right at that inside pit wall right before the gap openings there, unfortunately. So big hit for Dave Payton. He is going to get in the pits here. I'd say if he has a fast repair, he should be okay to be able to get back out and get back after it here. So hopefully that works out for him to still be in contention as well. And it's also a big break for Todd Merkel. This is going to give Todd his lap back, and that's going to give us 16 cars back on the lead lap. And like I said, from here now, we're going to be restarting with just over 15 to go. So there's no more fuel save. There's no more tire save. It's just going to be run what you brung and see who can get there first.
Yep. And if you're the top 7, you can still pit here and not worry about it because you know that everybody else behind you has to pit. So
and I was about to ask, does anybody actually stay out to keep that track position? Yes, we do have 3. At least 3, it looks like. We're going to have Eric Schaus, Charles Teed, and Michael Spell for sure. Those 3 staying out. They want to keep that track position. So that's going to work out well for... That's their goal here, is to try to keep that track position here. You know Eric Schaus, he's going full fuel save in that number 72 car. So that's kind of one of the things he is definitely known for. As you can see, just rolling as low RPM in 6th gear as he can.
I don't think these 3 would have stayed out if they didn't feel like, with the help of these yellow flag laps, that they couldn't make it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think with this caution, I think this pretty much puts them in a window to make it to the end. Again, we talked about how good they are at saving fuel. And again, there are no green white checkers on the Indy series. They went back to mimic what they have on the actual IndyCar series, which is you finish on the lap that it is. So we are racing to lap 100, whether it's under caution, under green. So, and I think that's where that strategy call of staying out here and keeping the track position on your cars is coming into play here. So, pit stop cycle though, for the way those came out, looks like Henry Bennett, he's going to come out in 4th position there, first of those that pitted. And then Matt Wagner, he's going to be back now in 5th in that 99 machine. So he's right back into the thick of it. And again, Dwight Plesh, he's going to restart 6th here. So a lot of these guys having good results here. Hopefully they continue on through the rest of the way. And do need to mention that the 38 David Payne, he was able to get back, stay on the lead lap. He's gonna have to restart at the end of the longest line just because of pitting for the pits were open, but he's gonna be able to have a chance at this one as well.
I saw Eric pass the pace car. I'm gonna guess he's either got he's shutting the engine off, or he's like pushing the clutch in and coasting.
Yeah, I think if I'm Eric, I'd be clutching it. I'm too scared to shut the engine off because obviously these things don't have built-in starters. So you can try to jump start it, basically like kind of drop a gear and get it to fire back up. But I'm not that brave. So and you can see we've got an apron party here on that inside line with those 3 that stayed out: Eric Schaus, Charles Teed, Michael Spell. So Everybody else, though, we know they're plenty good to the end here. These three are going to be tight, but I think they'll be okay, though, Steve. I mean, we're going to restart here with 16 to go. They pitted last 13 to go, but with this caution again, they're going to save about 2 to 3 laps there. So it'll be tight, but I think they'll be right there, which it'll be almost perfect. You'll have the car as light as possible to help that speed out.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to guess they have to have calculated in going flat out all the rest of the way, because there's not going to be any fuel saving now.
Nope, there's definitely no fuel saving. The only thing they'll be adjusting is those the weight jacker, the front and rear air Bs. Eric's going to be adjusting it right now for clean air. Charles probably going to keep it similar for his clean air, but some of these guys in the back are going to have to figure out what do they need to do to help it turn a little bit in that dirty air. And then again, make those adjustments back once they do get to the clean air, because it sounds like you can loosen it up when you're in the draft, but then when you get to that clean air, it gets very loose. So now the question is going to be Eric Schaus. He can wait until he wants to go, until that green flag flies. He is down and away as we restart here. 16 to go at the line, Steve.
I wonder if Eric's going to use the protect the inside line strategy. I mean, he may do that anyway, just because shorter way around the track, you burn less fuel. I think that's the only way he's going to keep Charles Teed behind him. He's got to protect that inside.
I think you're exactly right. I think you have to. And the other thing that we have here is we got a top 5 breakaway. Say that 6th place car of Dwight Plush, he did not get a great restart, so that's going to cost them a little bit of time to try to chase back up there. But entering turn 3, Charles Teed, he's going to grab the lead. And we saw earlier, he was difficult to get back around. So we'll see how this run continues on. Say 15 to go as they go side by side again for the lead here, enter turn number 1.
Now this is starting to look a little familiar, kind of like what we saw at Indy.
So you're starting to get that leapfrog action going on here. Say Henry Bennett, he is right there up in the mix. So again, Henry's the first of those that pitted. Matt Wagner just a little further back. He also pitted there under this caution. So we know Henry's got plenty of fuel to the end. We know Matt's got plenty of fuel to the end. So these guys, I think, want to waste no time to try to get back up there, try to use that little bit of fresher tire that they have as well. But right now, say these two right now, like you said, just kind of playing that leapfrog game up front here.
Yeah, and I think this is now going to work to Henry Bennett's advantage.
Yeah, it just depends. Like say, I mean, Henry's got to let his tires get up to a little bit more temperature. Say, obviously, he had the cold tires, so it may not be quite at operating temperature like we saw the other guys have. But right now, I mean, we've got a 5-car breakaway. The rest of the field here is about 3 seconds back of the group, and that's not enough to catch the draft. So, let's say, barring a yellow, which I say isn't unheard of, I don't know if they'll be able to catch that group back up. So right now, we got pretty much a 5-horse race here for the win.
Boy, this is going to be wild.
Yeah, you see Matt Wagner getting as low as he can there. You can see, I think he's a little tentative to get the wheel back opened up there on the exit. So, let's say you can see.
3 wide.
Oh, they barely squeeze through each other there. Henry Bennett's going to be able to squeeze through at the moment. But I think we're going to see Charles Teed's going to steal some draft out the back. No, he's going to stay to the top side. I think he feels he has some more momentum there. But right now, yeah, we'll see what Eric does here. Does he try to peek underneath? Not enough room at the moment. So Henry Bennett, he does take over the top spot here. But now you see that big move from the top to the middle there, grabbing the toe for the 0.5 of Charles Teed. He jumps to the inside. Charles is going to try to take this lead back here, coming around down the backstretch, coming to 11 to go.
So that was a couple great moves there.
I think this is going to be like Indy, Steve. I think you're going to have to make the right move at the right time, get that momentum to be able to make that right pass. You just got to figure out, do you want to be leading? Do you want to be second? Where do you need to be to make this move happen? And again, I mean, and it's going to just ramp up all the more here as we get to these starting to get to these closing stages. You see Eric Schaus and Charles Teed really close there through 1 and 2.
Something interesting I'm noticing. If you're up front, you can definitely make the pass on the inside. If you're in the 3rd or 4th, if you're battling for 3rd and 4th, it's very hard to make that pass on the inside.
And I think that's just that aero wash from those cars in front of you. If Charles Teed runs the bottom, and you can't do it. So say you see like right now Eric Schaus, he's going to be on the inside line. He's going to be at a disadvantage here because he's going to have all that wake from that 007 car. And that's exactly what you see there. You can see him washing up. That's going to give Matt Wagner a big run on the outside. Can't quite get to the side pod of the. Oh, we got spin in the back. This could bring out a yellow. Yep, caution is out. Looks like that's going to be again the 38. Unfortunately, David Payton. It's going to be a big break for those guys that were 6 on back though. So And of course, going to give a little more fuel saving to those that stayed out as well. So, yeah, I say we're going to get another restart in, so don't worry about that. I say this is not going to end under yellow as of right now. Let's go back and see what happened to David though.
Like turn 2, got him again.
Yeah, I think this time it's going to be the inside line though. We're taking a look at it now. You see, actually, you see he's washing up there, trying to stay off of the 77 and Benjamin Combs. You see Jim Brooks got really close to him. No, didn't make contact, but then you see he's straddling that apron, or not the apron, the two seams there. And yes, exactly that, right on the exit. He's kind of are on the between the seams there, and just that just seems to be a really bad spot. So luckily, it looks like just a nice little solo spin for him. He's gonna have no damage, just needs to get some fresh tires. He'll be right back into the mix of this one as well. So. Yeah, so like I said, I'm sure right now if you were in that 6th position on back, you were very happy for that caution because you were out of contention without that caution there.
Yep, and for the guys, right, exactly. They're all reeled back in now.
So I don't think we'll see anybody. I don't think we'll see most of the field pit. I mean, I think we'll see a few pit towards the back, and it looks like Dwight Pledge is going to be the first of those to do so. I figure we'll see David Payne come in as well. Yeah, David Payne, Kyle Hess also is in the pits. I think we missed something with Kyle Hess, unfortunately, too, is I saw him towed to the pits, and it looks like he actually wound up retiring. So I think he may have been caught up in an incident a few laps prior to this caution. So I saw him jump to the pits, but I wasn't able to jump away from that battle for the lead, unfortunately. So that's unfortunate for Kyle. He had a really good run going here tonight. But yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to wind up 16th this evening. Ivan Plott, though, he's still going after it. He's actually going to get a lap back, Steve, here. Finally, it took most of the race here, but he's going to get 8 lucky dogs. That's going to get him back to 33 laps down. But again, though, I mean, hats off. Actually, at this point, he isn't going to get any more spots. He's going to finish 17th tonight. But again, that's 3 spots gained from where he started tonight. And so, yeah, so hats off for him to kind of run this thing out here tonight. That's really good to see for some of these drivers.
Yeah, I second that.
All right, Steve. So we're going to have about a 6 lap to go. Yeah, we're going to restart with 6 to go here. Again, at this point, I think if the leaders, you're hoping to be in the right position at the right time. Because again, at this point, there are no green white checkers, so if there's a caution that comes out at 3 to go, I want to say it's your 4 or 3 to go. That's going to be it. So that's going to be a big strategy call for these guys, is when to try to make the move. You can't wait too long staying in 2nd place. You're going to have to try to find your way to the front here quickly to be able to have a chance at getting this win here tonight.
Yeah, I think we're going to see balls to the wall right from the start here.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, advantage is going to be initially go to Henry Bennett because again, he's going to be able to get that nice restart. Charles Teed's going to have to be quick on the gearbox to try to react to him, get that toe, and again, we'll probably start seeing some of that slingshot passing again. And I think that's where Charles might be in a pretty good spot here in that 2nd position because, like you said, Steve, if you're that 3rd, 4th car back in line, it's really hard to make the inside line work. But if you're those top 2, you can make those passes happen. So. There's gonna be some probably some pretty daring moves here on this final run here to the finish.
Yeah, I think exactly, Guile. And I think the one thing, the one wild card is the 3rd place guy. If he gets a run underneath the top 2 and makes it 3 wide, that's the one way we saw at Indy and here so far where the 3rd place guy can get up into the lead.
Yeah, I think that's going to be... I think if you're Eric Schaus, who's in that position at the moment, Matt Wagner 4th there, Michael Spell 5th, I think you're right. I think that's going to be... Initially, yeah, you're maybe staying single file or maybe staying double wide with the guys in front of you and not forcing the issue, but you're kind of at the point now where you got to force the issue. But, again, you got to be careful, though. Again, tires are going to be cooled off a little bit as you're riding ground under this yellow, so you're going to have to kind of try to... make sure that you've got the car planted underneath you. So that being said, though, Henry Bennett, he's going to take over on this restart and see if he's going to go early or not. It looks like he's waiting a little longer. Now he's down and away. And it looks like Charles Teed, pretty good reaction there. He is not that far behind. And you see actually all of them from 3rd on back are all over each other here.
Yep, everybody got a good restart.
Yeah, I think everybody was up on the wheel there, ready to go there. So, You see Matt Wagner trying to work his way to the top side, get a little bit of momentum built up to that top side. He is going to get some momentum. Charles Teed going to try to work the outside. Here comes Eric Schaus to the inside. Here's the 3 wide entering turn number 3. And actually caution comes out, so it's going to be who was closest to the front there when that caution flew. And it looks like, unfortunately, Todd Merkel, Dwight Plesh may have been caught up in that one. So, yeah, Dwight Plesh got definitely some heavy nose damage to his car. So with that, though, so we're going to caution here. I think we'll still get one more restart in, so I don't think this one's over yet. But it's definitely going to start getting dicey here. I think it looks like it's going to be, I think, Todd Merkel, unfortunately. Yeah, oh, again, you see him on the seam there, Steve, straddling the two lines there, the inside and the middle. And, no, actually, he was cleared there, and it looks like just, it just washed up on him. And then, unfortunately, just Dwight Plesh, nowhere to go, gets into the back of him, and let's say those two go for a little bit of a ride there. So, yeah, I think again, cold tires probably weren't quite up to temperature, pressures, all that kind of stuff. Heavy hit for Todd Merkel, though, as well. But, yeah, so, unfortunately, that's going to be some pretty significant damage for him. Dwight Plesh was able to get back into the pits, I believe. So, he's going to get back out and going. So, time of the caution, though, Steve. Charles Teed found his way back to the front.
Wow. And Eric Schaus, as hard as he tried, is still in third.
Yeah, so you saw the effort Eric and Matt were doing there, and say they're still going to be third and fourth respectively. James Ledford was able to get around Michael Spell up into that top 5 here, but this will be the final restart of the race. Right now, we're going to cross line 4 to go. I don't remember if the pit stops or if the pits were open that last time by, so I think we're still on 2 to go here. Yeah, we are. So I was going to try to do some rough math here. I think we're going to restart this one with 2 to go, Steve. So this will be. It's going to be actually pretty much an unofficial green-white checker, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess it would work out that way.
So there you go. So Area 51 finding a way to bring green-white checkered into the race one way or the other there. So say I'm obviously joking here, but yeah. So say now this is going to be it, Steve. So I mean, if another caution comes out, that's going to be the end of the race. So again, I mean, these guys are going to be doing everything they can to try to. Again, I don't think there's going to be a lot of like, okay, I got to time it to make this pass off of 3, off of 2, whatever it may be. You're going to try to get around these guys as fast as humanly possible because you don't know if and when that caution is going to fall.
And I'm thinking, if I'm Charles Teed, I'm going to try and protect that bottom line and make Henry Bennett go to my outside. I don't think we're going to play any more of this leapfrog game.
Oh yeah, no. I think if you're Charles Teed, you protect that inside line. You run that yellow line until you have the opportunity to kind of drift back up to get a good entry into 3. And you definitely do not open the door for someone to make a 3 wide move on you as well. If they're going to pass you, make them pass you up top. I think that's going to be your best chance to win this race here tonight. So. We'll see. I say it's gonna be dicey. I say they do have there is no going below the yellow white lines here at the track, with obviously good reason here with these guys, with these cars. I say it's just the difference in the banking is not going to go well, especially if they try to do it on the front stretch here. So we will get the 1 to go here at 3 to go. We're going to restart, like I said, this one with 2 to go. So yeah, it's going to be pretty much a green-white checker that's going to get us to that lap 100 mark here, Steve. So. And the other question for Charles Teed is, I mean, it's going to be all about this restart too. When's going to be the best time to go? Do you go early? Do you go late? Maybe try to catch those guys off guard because we saw everybody was ready for Henry Bennett's restart. They were all on top of him there.
Yeah, if I'm Charles Teed, I'm going to pick whatever I think is going to give me the biggest gap between me and second place.
Yeah, because that's the thing too, Steve, is if you can get that guy to catch you at the right time, say entering turn number 3, that's really, like I said, you protect the bottom, you make Henry go up top, he's going to lose that momentum that he wants, and I mean, I think that's going to be the best chance you have. So, and the other thing to mention, of course, is pretty much like I said, it's one of those where the next flag ends it. So if we get a caution before we get the white flag, that's going to be it. However, if they get to the white flag, they will race it out to the checkered. So that's going to be where we're going to be keeping an eye out for, is if we get that white flag or not, because that's going to tell us if we are going to get a green flag finish or possibly finish under yellow. It's going to get dicey here, Steve.
It's going to be exciting. An exciting finish coming up.
That it will be. So now again, everybody's gonna be watching Charles Teed. As soon as that pace car is off the racing surface, he is eligible to go when he is ready. So we'll see as these pace car ducks in. We'll watch that 05 car And it looks like he's waiting. So he's going to do a little later. Now he's down and away. It looks like he does get a little bit of a gap. You see, breaks the draft right away. Steve gets to the inside line. He's going to try to do everything he can to protect this lead here.
Yep, and we have a pretty good gap between fourth place and fifth place. So I think this is probably a 3 or 4 car. This is a 4-car race we got right now.
Yeah, so I'll say you see. Oh, actually, no, we got trouble in the back. This is going to be it. This is how it's going to finish. So Charles T got the restart he needed. He's going to get the win here tonight. We're going to finish, unfortunately, under yellow. We'll go back and see what it was. But Charles T, though, he's going to come around here, take the caution and white flag here, and then they'll finish this one under yellow behind the pace car. So let's go see what happened to bring out this final yellow. Thing again, I think you're trying to get everything you can here on these final restarts. See where it all kicked off there. I think I saw Michael Spell caught up in this one, so let's start with him. And I already see him kind of leaning down towards the inside groove, and I see him between the inside seam and the apron. And I have actually no, he gets to the apron, he gets to the under the yellow line, Steve, and that's at that point, yeah, you're along for the ride here. So unfortunately, Michael Spell, he's gonna get there. You see Craig Forsyth just sneaks on by, so it's actually gonna wind up being just, I think, a solo a solo spin here. I don't think anybody else gets caught up in it. But yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna be it for the field here tonight. So just as I think just Michael going for everything he could there, just couldn't get, or just car just rotated too much there.
Yeah, that's a shame because Michael Spell had a decent finish going there.
Yeah, he had a good run going, so he's still going to wind up in 14th, but yeah, definitely not what he's going to be looking for. That being said, though, we're going to see pretty much checker and, yeah, caution checker finish here tonight, and that is going to give 2 in a row for this number 05 of Charles Teed getting the win here tonight at Michigan. Second place going to go to Henry Bennett. Eric Schaus finishing in 3rd. Matt Wagner going to get 4th. James Ledford gets a top 5 for his part there as well. So that's 2 in a row for Charles Teed. He's going to be a happy camper. Obviously, I'm sure not the way he wanted to get the win, but still, I mean, a great job nonetheless for him getting 2 in a row here tonight. So you getting some celebration from his teammate there behind, Benjamin Combs, I believe one of his associates there on the dark horse side of things. So yeah, great job for Charles getting that win. And I say now's those last 2 restarts. I mean, that's what all it was, Steve. I say he was able to get around the 007 Henry Bennett when it counted on the previous restart, and then able to get a good enough restart to stay in front of him before that caution came out on this one.
Yep, he made the right move at the right time, and it worked out perfectly.
So with that, we got to find our top 3 here. And I know we'll be in trouble if we don't interview this, our 3rd place finisher here. Let's go ahead and pull him on up once I hunt him down. There we go. Alright, so we're going to kick things off with our 3rd place finisher of Eric Schaus. Started 16th, finishes in 3rd. So say we've talked about before, you kind of have the different game plan now going into the last couple of seasons where you kind of start in the back and just kind of work your way up there. You're able to find your way up there again tonight. Say obviously didn't get the last couple of restarts probably as green as you're hoping for to the end. The question I have for you is, prior to those cautions coming out to the end, how did you feel? Were you going to be able to try to stretch it on field to make it to the end there, or were you going to have to splash towards the very end?
It would have been real close. The little bit at the end there where I was leading, I dropped it down in a map 4, so pretty aggressive fuel saving. I was hoping that would get me there. Yeah, I might have. I'm glad that we had the cautions. I think I needed at least 1, but yeah, I'm glad we had the 2.
Yeah, so they definitely worked out for you to be able to save the field to the end there. And then of course we saw you, Charles, and I think there was one. I think it was Michael that had stayed out there under those yellows to try to kind of keep that track position. Because I say at that point, I think those cautions, and of course knowing that there are no green-white checkers on this series, I say was that kind of where you were feeling like, okay, this is definitely going to put us in the window to make it without any trouble.
Yeah, I noticed that we were having a lot of really long runs, so overall I was just trying to save fuel as much as possible and extend that fuel window as long as I could.
Eric, You were so close to taking that lead when you took that 3 wide down on the bottom.
I'll be honest. I am pretty happy that caution came out because I don't know if I could have stuck that. That was more of a bluff than anything.
So
that caution almost was perfect for you, though.
Yep.
yeah, so like Steve's exactly right. I say that move there. I mean, that could have been exactly at the winning move. I say you had the move there. I say we saw Henry kind of go middle, didn't protect the bottom completely, and we weren't sure if that was going to open that door or not. And sure enough, it did. So yeah, it was a really close call for you to be able to get there. The one thing you do have going for you, I believe, is starting 16th, finishing third. I think you'll definitely be the highest climber tonight, so you'll get that bonus point there as well. So I say obviously trying to every point matters for this season overall. So the other thing I got to ask is on the setup as well. Is it seemed like it wasn't definitely you couldn't just protect the bottom the whole way. You actually had to move around because we saw some moves actually being made on that top side. So it seemed like it definitely made it a little bit more challenging and a little more racier as well versus the leaders just trying to protect that bottom groove only.
Yeah, I definitely like the way the setup felt tonight. About halfway through the run, the top line, at least through 1 and 2, started to become pretty strong. I never quite got the pace figured out, but it was still a fun one to drive.
Yeah, it was a good result for you tonight. To say, try to kick things off well with the first couple of races, get some solid finishes. So, that being said, obviously got to give you the floor though. Saying I know you obviously have a couple of dedicated supporters, so I definitely want to let you have a chance for any thanks and shoutouts.
Yeah, thanks to you guys at Green White Checker TV. Thanks to Area 51. Thanks to my wife who's at work tonight. Hopefully she gets to watch this. And then thanks to anybody else out there watching and supporting.
All right, well, great run, Erica. Say it's always fun to see you up there, and saying I'm sure we'll have plenty more interviews as the season goes on.
Yeah, great job there.
All right, Steve. Now we're gonna pull up our second place finisher. This is that 007 of Henry Bennett. Say Henry pole sitter on both races for so far. So say $20 richer thanks to the Dark Horse Pole Award. So that's obviously a good way to start off. But I think more for you, Henry, is to be able to actually be in contention here at the end. And say unfortunately had the just not quite enough fuel at Indy last week, but tonight obviously plenty of fuel to get there to the end. Just unfortunately, say it seems like it's one thing or another. Say this time just the caution coming out at just the wrong time for you on those last couple of restarts.
Yeah, I was just getting my run there on that last caution, and and caution came out half a lap too early. But I'm not sure with another lap and a half to go whether I could have passed Charles and stuck it, because he would have had the draft once I passed him. So we really don't know who would have won out of the two of us again. But yeah, really great race from Charles and Eric.
Yeah, you guys are putting on a really good show there. Did you have any second thoughts when, let's say, towards that? I think it was the second last caution where Eric went 3 wide there. Did you think at all about trying to protect that bottom line, or did it seem like that kind of the more middle groove, if you will, is that where you felt like you needed to be to not really run that bottom line? Because we saw that was definitely a treacherous spot tonight.
I mean, I didn't go to the bottom line at all at any point in the race because it was just so slippery. And the transition between the first and second groove is really bad. So you just don't want to be down there. So I'm happy in the middle. The top is probably a bit too long a line to take unless you're looking to get a run for the next straight. So the middle's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah, that's something Steve and I were talking about. It seems like with these cars, even on the NASCAR Cup side of things, just running you want to run just right at that seam. Obviously, with these cars, you want to stay above the seam. Just like I said, because of the transition, these cars just do not do well with the difference in transitions. And that's what we saw a lot of tonight was sometimes cars was kind of straddle that low line to that second groove above the seam, and that seemed to really bite a lot of guys tonight. So. Say again, I mean, a really good result for you tonight. Say there was, you've had some pretty high expectations put on you by a couple of your competitors going into this season. So, nice, obviously good for you to get a solid run tonight. I'm sure you're still trying to get that first win. So, say if you need any consoling, so you can definitely hit up Matt Wagner. Say it took him a couple tries before he finally broke through as well. But you've had again awesome races these first 2 ones, controlling a lot of it, poles on the first 2 races as well. So. I suspect you're feeling pretty good about the remainder of the season here.
Yeah, I mean, wins are good, but consistent finishes are what I'm after. There's a good group of drivers here, so you're going to have to drive really well to win. So just consistent finishes, top fives, I'll be happy.
So I think you're 2 for 2 on that front already so far this season. So again, I mean, great run tonight, Henry. But before I let you go, definitely want to give you the floor. Anything shouts you'd like to give for that run tonight?
Just my team, Powerslide Motorsports. Yeah, we run a lot of IndyCar together, and so yeah, always helping each other improve.
So you definitely did that tonight. It's a great run this evening. So yeah, look forward to catching you again here. Well, I say probably not this evening for you, but yeah, definitely look forward to catching you again here soon, Henry. Great run tonight though, and look forward to catching you next week.
Excellent run, Henry.
Thanks, guys.
All right, with that, we got to jump over to our race winner, 2 in a row, Steve. And I think at this point, Charles is going to have to kind of put this paint scheme everywhere that he races, because so far so good for you, Charles.
I'm thinking with that, that new paint scheme and that sponsorship, he must be getting better equipment this season.
Yeah, no, it's I've just been getting a lot of tips from these guys that are all better than I am, and super fortunate again. I mean, I was able to get around them right as one yellow came out. I had great pace all night. I'm not going to deny that, but Henry had newer tires, and Eric was sitting back in third. So I think I could well have been a sitting duck, but I think we would have just weaved back and forth. I have no idea how that thing was going to play out. The last restart, I think, had a really good restart. I think it was going to be tough for anyone to get me, but my goodness, yeah, we're going to definitely run this scheme all year.
How are you on fuel?
I had an additional 6 laps at the end. It was going to be really tight early in that run, but man, the yellows were just stacking up on top of each other. It was a tricky setup. A lot of people were running positive weight jacket and running up near the top. I ran minus, and I was able to run the bottom. I could really run anywhere on the track that I wanted to, when a lot of people were really having to feather it to get down on the bottom. So that really helped me a lot.
Well, I got one more question, and then Kyle can finish. I asked this to Eric. When you guys had that 3 wide and the caution came out, what were you thinking? Because the way it looked to us, we couldn't tell which one of you was coming out with the lead, and it turns out that decided the race right there.
Yep. I wasn't sure. I'm like, am I ahead? I asked, and so my crew chief app was not working tonight. So I was driving pretty much with just my rearview mirrors, which makes it a lot more tricky. I let everyone know in the field that I didn't have that, but there was, with 5 to go, no one gives a rat's ass what you have. It's, stick it in there and go for it. So yeah, it was a blast. It was the same cast of characters too. I mean, Craig was up there through a lot of the race too. Yeah, it's a fun bunch there to try and run with, and I love the fact that you can tinker with the car through the run as needed. And yeah, 2 for 2, we'll take them. Tonight we had pace.
I was going to say that you definitely did, because I was going to mention, like, kind of at I wouldn't say midway point of the race, but I mean, there's a point where, like, we saw the leaders and it was kind of a leapfrog back and forth, almost like Indy. But then once you took over the lead, it just seemed like whatever it was you were doing, like, they could get near you, but then they couldn't do enough to actually jump around you there. So, like you said, maybe been the way you were able to adjust the car to suit you. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like you had a really good ability of controlling everything up there.
Yeah, it was good. It was a fast car tonight. Sometimes you don't win with a fast car, and tonight we did. Henry again threw it on the pole. Wicked fast and super unfortunate. I wouldn't be surprised if he rattles off 3 or 4 in a row here in this league, but fortunate to get them all again tonight. We're going to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take them when the opportunity presents itself. I say, I mean, it's been a great start to the season for you. And like I said, and it's not like you've lucked into them. You've been in contention both races, all race long. Just been making awesome moves, and yeah, it's been a blast to watch. And say, like I said, unfortunately, the cautions didn't quite fall the way I'm sure some of the drivers were hoping to or not to. But yeah, again, you were able to capitalize when it counted.
Absolutely. Want to thank you guys for putting this thing on and broadcasting Area 51. Sorry, choking on this victory. Area 51 for putting on a great league, and the Dark Horse boys again. It looks like, as I look at the finish, I was pretty busy, but Gary and Ben both brought in top 10s, so good job for them. And yeah, we got him. It's nice to keep Wags behind me, as sassy as he is, and yeah, good run. So thank you.
Yeah, great job tonight, Charles. So yeah, definitely enjoy this one again. And say, look forward to seeing you again next week. And say, yeah, just see if we can keep this roll going for you.
Absolutely. Where are we at next week?
Let's find out.
Great win, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
So I'm going to do a little bit of hunting for you because I am curious myself. Next week we will be at New Hampshire.
Oh, that's a bull ring. That's a fun one. That should
So
be a good one.
That's going to be a challenging one. Yeah, you're definitely right there. So that'll be a lot of fun to see, though. But yeah, again, though, Charles, yeah, definitely enjoy this one. Congrats again. Well, as always, I say well earned, and yeah, you guys are doing an awesome job here.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess I don't have to look at the points totals. I'm still in first, so we're gonna keep it for 2 weeks anyway. So they're gonna have to come get it.
That's right. Hang on to it for all you're worth.
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, Steve, that's 2 for 2 for Charles. Actually, 2 for 2 for Henry Bennett on the polls, 2 for 2 for Charles Teed on the wins. So I think at this point, Charles is going to be rooting for Henry to keep getting some polls because, I say, so far it's been working well for him. So as you see, he's able to park that dark horse in victory lane here tonight at Michigan. Say definitely a few more cautions I think a lot of the drivers were hoping to see here tonight. But like I said, it was a challenging setup, and I think that seam transition we talked about on that bottom line to that second groove, that's I think what really caught a lot of guys out there at the end.
Yeah, definitely. And it was interesting to hear Charles describe the adjustments he made to the car that made it less of a problem for him if he got down there. So he was able to run some places on the track that other people were having too much trouble with.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that's a perfect example of why these cars, even with fixed setups, you can adjust yourself, you can adjust what you're doing, and you can make a difference and to make your car better than the others. And that's what Charles was able to do tonight. Was drivers went one way on the weight jacker ARBs, he went another way, and I mean it worked for him tonight.
So it was once again a pretty exciting race, and it's great to watch these guys. And again, the respect that they race each other with, and the competitiveness that we see every week up front in this league. And quite a few people were up there at various times during the race having a challenge, for the top few spots. So it's a great job to everybody tonight. Yeah,
you're exactly right. So at some point in the race, all these guys were, I think, in the top 5 at one point or another. So yeah, very competitive. Just obviously the way cautions and everything shook out, just kind of changed things up a little bit. But yeah, it's a good final results. Though Charles Teed getting that win over Henry Bennett, Eric Schaus in third. Matt Wagner and James Ledford round out our top 5. Then 6th through 10th, Craig Forsyth, Gary Corley, Benjamin Combs, Tom Miles able to recover well, and then Jim Brooks able to bring a top 10 finish as well. And then 11th through 20th here, you've got Paul Patterson, David Payton, Dwight Plesh, Michael Spell, Todd Merkel. Unfortunately, Kyle Hess retired there early. Didn't catch what happened to him, but he got caught in an incident that did not bring out the caution. Unfortunately, he had to retire from that one. And then hats off Ivan Plas, sticking it out there. Came in late, but made it all the way through, gained a couple of spots there. Unfortunately, we saw Chad Wilkes retire. John Brill, a couple of incidents that knocked him out early. And same thing goes with that 10, unfortunately, of Anders Arhus. So not the nights they're looking for, but would not be surprised to see them bounce back next week either. All right, Steve, with that's Michigan for tonight. It's week number 2 here already under the books. Say next week we'll be at Loudon. That's going to be a curious one. Say that's a very flat track. These cars definitely run much higher on the track than we see with the Cup cars. So I'll say I'll be really curious to see how these drivers are going to manage that track. So I think that's going to be a very difficult one for them.
Yeah, it's going to be quite different from the tracks that we've run so far, and it'll be interesting to see how these cars drive there.
Yeah, they've run it before, and I mean, they definitely put on a good show, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see. So definitely stick around for that next week. We'll be watching that one. We'll be broadcasting, of course, here at Greenway Checker TV. I will be back on Thursday night for the Cup Series second race of the season with I believe Dale Knott will be joining me in the booth there as well. Steve, as always, pleasure having you with me. I say it was a fun one tonight. Say always able to add stuff for me and keep an eye on things that I can't keep an eye on myself. So appreciate everything you do with me, and looking forward to the next one.
Love doing this with you, Gael.
All right, so yeah, thanks again for everybody watching. I appreciate all of your support, and of course, until next time, if you can, please try to stay home, stay safe, wash your hands, and until next time, have a good night.
Good night, everyone.